Cleveland's consent decree has been thrust into the spotlight again of late. Senator Bernie Moreno is calling for it to end. It's been 10 years now since the Justice Department put it in place after multiple high-profile shootings by police. Today, Annabelle Childers spoke with the monitor overseeing Cleveland police progress and Police Chief Annie Todd.
More than 100 pages detail the requirements Cleveland police have to meet before a federal judge will lift the consent decree. Attorney Karl Racine was appointed to oversee police progress in April 2023. In the past, he's criticized the city's lack of progress and transparency. But today, he brings better news.
We've seen, strong evidence of de-escalation, proportional force being used. And we're in the midst right now of that deep assessment.
Is there an end in sight? What is a potential timeline for the city to exit this consent decree?
That's, the million-dollar question. I'd ask it too, if I were you. I don't have that visibility right now. Remember, these are our first assessments, right?
The big areas police are required to grow include community engagement, bias-free policing, and use of force crisis intervention. But Racine did not specify which areas are being assessed first.
It's been about 10 years, and we're just now getting to the assessment phase. Is that typical for a city? Why did it take so long?
There really is no typical story in consent decrees, as crazy as that might sound. There are consent decrees that have lasted 4 years, 8 years. Most of them are at 12, 18, 20, and running. Change is not going to be immediate, but change is indeed happening.
Cleveland City Council members have raised concern at the cost of the monitoring team. In response to a question about the impact to taxpayers, Racine says it's important to look at the millions of dollars spent on past city settlements related to excessive force.
How do you quantify in cost, in dollars and cents, the distrust that community members have for law enforcement?
Chief Todd says she views this move into the assessment phase as a big win for police.
That shows that there is substantial changes that we've committed to and that we've made. And now it's just somebody taking a look to make sure that they can report that they see it and that that we've had a culture shift.
Racine says right now one holdup impacting the police department's scoring for these reports is the Community Police Commission. Racine says it doesn't have enough members. He's urging City Council to approve more members so the commission can provide recommendations for police practices, which, Russ, is mandated in the decree.
Okay, Annabelle Childers in the newsroom. Thank you.
Meanwhile, newly uncovered documents reveal some Cleveland police officers have felt frustrated with the consent decree and internal discipline for years. But is their ability to police actually affected? 3 News investigative reporter Peter Fleischer dug through years' worth of exit interviews where officers vented about excessive oversight, while the chief pushed back against the idea of unrealistic expectations.
Cleveland Police Chief Annie Todd has heard the complaints. Are her officers overly scrutinized?
It's a fair question when you hear the comments that come from the men and women.
3 News Investigates reviewed more than 3 years of exit interviews from her department. Almost 100 people who left the force from 2020 to 2023. While issues like pay and morale were listed among the top reasons for leaving, many officers took the time to write in their own comments about what they feel is excessive supervision and punishment. One wrote, "Officers are afraid to perform the job for fear of suspension or worse." Another said, "The city wants to bring you up on charges for any and everything because the DOJ is here, actually suspending police officers for doing their job." Chief Todd remembers the old days and insists improvements have been made.
They hear rumors, and stories about we used to be able to do this, we used to be able to do that. And, they used to be able to do things is why we're in a consent decree.
I will always be accountable to the people of Ohio.
Newly elected Senator Bernie Moreno has called on the Department of Justice to remove the consent decree, saying law enforcement officers need to be able to do their jobs and enforce the law without politicians holding them back. But with overall crime down in the last year and several encouraging trends, Chief Todd insists her team will be effective with or without the DOJ over their shoulder.
That narrative will always remain, that this stops you from policing, and we're still doing policing. You look at our homicide rates, crime rates in the city of Cleveland, crime has dropped. We're still doing great policing, and even with the consent decree in existence.
While many officers used those exit interviews to voice complaints or frustration, nearly 2/3 still said they would recommend working for Cleveland Public Safety. It's also worth noting the 2024 recruiting class was the largest Cleveland Police has brought on in years. That's good news, Christy.
All right, yeah, great digging in there, Peter. Thank you.